Hi, and welcome to Screens in Focus podcast, where we share and connect as we spotlight our favorite shows and movies. I'm Diana, and today we're talking about Fear the Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 10, and our recommendations on Mayans MC, The Flight Attendant, Abbott Elementary, and Selling Sunset. Hi, Margaret. How are you today?
I'm pretty good, Diana. And you?
I am doing very well myself.
Good to hear.
All righty. So, young love in this episode of Fear the Walking Dead. So, our question of the day is, do you remember your first kiss?
No.
Okay.
I've had so many, Diana. They are all a blur.
Yeah. I guess that's good to have, Margaret.
Well, it wasn't memorable, so I guess that is good. Neutral.
Okay.
However, I do remember when I first bowled. My family is a bowling family. My grandmother was in a league. My father was in a league. So, of course, my grandmother took us out, me, my brother, and sister, out to bowl. Couldn't even hold it. I was so young. I was probably 4 or 5, and two hands pushing that ball down the gutter. I got 1 pin, I think. My score was 1. So yeah, that was fun. I'm much better now because I understand the arrows. But so, who was your first kiss?
I had to think about it for a second about my first kiss, and you know what? It was in elementary school, and it was it was like spin the bottle.
Yeah, we did that too. Yeah.
See, and
but I never got kissed.
I did, and that was my first kiss.
Wow, was it? It was
at a park. Yeah. And it was at a park. I don't know if it was during school time. Couldn't have been during school time. Could it have been? I don't
recess.
know.
Could have been recess.
Well, I think we did a field trip maybe to that place. But wouldn't the teacher know that a group of kids were out doing this? Because I was in elementary school, so it's not like I could have come here by myself. So now I'm wondering, what kind of supervision did we have back then?
Minimal.
So, yeah, I guess so. But I do want to bring up something about bowling also. I don't recall the very first time I bowled. I'm not sure if it was when I was a teenager or younger, but in high school, I was able to take bowling as part of my PE class. Isn't that the coolest thing? I remember feeling like this is such a cool thing. And we would drive to a bowling alley, and it was on a Wednesday when we had these 2-hour increments. I don't know why, but Wednesdays were, you had 3 classes instead of this 5 or 6 that you had. And they were 2 hours. And that day was a day we would go bowling. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. So, I recall my bowling, and I recall my first kiss. So,
yeah.
Friends out there, let us know. Do you remember your first kiss? And if not, do you remember when you first bowled? You can tell us the answer to either one of those questions.
Or both.
Yeah. You can leave a comment on social media, our website, or email at screensinfocus@gmail.com. We would love to know. The links are in our show notes. Okay, so Fear the Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 10, entitled Mourning Cloak. This centers on Charlie and a new character, Ali, in a post-apocalyptic coming-of-age episode. Has my name written all over it, which I really enjoyed. We get action, walkers, radiation, butterflies, kisses, and get to see familiar faces. So tell me, Margaret, what did you think of this episode?
I really, really do like Fear the Walking Dead because it takes a different spin on everything. But not really buying this radiation thing with Charlie. I mean, it kicked up so quickly, so early, and so fast, and it made no sense. So, I don't know. And then she wanted to turn on the beacon when there wasn't any setup for how they were going to navigate through to find the people, the baby, and what's her name?
Grace.
Grace, yeah. I knew that. But I just felt like it was a little weakly put together. And I think that if they had focused more on like Ollie and his whole turmoil with his family and his feelings and his wanting to, be important or matter. And then he meets this girl who puts him on a pedestal pretty much. I mean, they connected. They both had loss. They both, it was a sweet little relationship thing. However, I don't know. I just don't get that. Do you think Charlie's going to die? I don't think she's going to die. I think something's going to happen and it's going to like with Grace.
Yeah, I was going to say Grace. Yeah.
And the baby absorbing all the radiation. I didn't Google it. I didn't research it, but I really don't think that's possible. So anyway, that's how I felt. And I just personally, I really like to have a few storylines running simultaneously and have them woven together in the episode versus just this chunk, which is what I felt it was. It was entertaining. I liked, a lot of what they brought to it, but it just could have been richer. It could have been more for me, especially since it's, the second episode. They got to really hook you, right?
Yeah.
So you're interested in watching the rest of the season. And I don't know if they're really doing that full-heartedly or wholeheartedly. So, but what did you think?
That is so true what you just said about hooking us. And I think the only person that I saw who really changed during this episode was June, which we'll talk about later on in this segment, because I want to finish off what we're talking about here with Charlie and Ali. But with Charlie, I thought the same thing. Like, how did this happen so fast? And why is she on the ground already? And if Grace had been exposed too, and she's been living all this time, why is Charlie like on her last leg? It was so bizarre to me how this and why this was happening. And I don't know how radiation works. I'm really curious about that too. I really don't understand it, because then I wonder, wouldn't Ali have been exposed too? And does it matter if she was exposed? Can she spread that exposure to anybody, or is it just self-contained? I don't know how it works. And then her age being 13 or right? 12.
Why no? No.
I had trouble getting over that a lot. It kept bothering me. I'm like, one, she doesn't look that young at all. And two, putting her in this position of her first kiss and not that there's anything wrong with that part, but she just doesn't look that age. And I just feel like she should have been at minimum 15.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a couple things that I had to get through or, jump in and try to believe as I was watching this. But, oh my gosh, I was so disappointed that they killed Ali. So disappointed.
But if he's radiated, then, he's got a short-term life. I mean, that just popped in my head and I thought,
Yeah. But I liked him a lot. I liked his character, and I didn't think that Fear would kill two characters back to back, but I suppose we needed to see how cruel Howard could be and how much of a Strand soldier he is. But I really liked the kid. I liked the actor. I just thought it was perfect casting. And I'm really kind of sad that we don't get to see him again. I really liked him. Like the way we liked Max on The Walking Dead, her being a new character and really liking her character. I liked this kid just as much. Like, I'm really sad to see him go. In fact, I like him better than some of the regulars that we see. I'm like, damn, this kid's going. He's so good.
Well, you knew it. You knew he was going to go.
I didn't. I did not yet.
But that's their formula,
Yeah,
I mean, and somebody had said that. One of the Talking Dead about one of the episodes, or you had mentioned it about how you get introduced to a character and then boom, they're gone. And that shock value is gone after they've done it a few times. So
yeah.
I'm surprised that they did do that to Ali though, because I thought that he had worked his way into a position of trust with them, even though he was going to do the beacon thing. He should have lied. He should have just said,
I know.
done anything but what he did. So
I know. I thought the same thing. But I did like his storyline about his father and wanting to become a ranger. I thought, besides him feeling like a coward with his father, I thought, other than that, I thought he was actually really a brave young man. Didn't seem to really be too afraid of the walkers. I mean, he was, willing to fight through them and just be out there on his own. Like when he went to go capture that butterfly and he wanted to get it no matter what. And even though a walker was coming toward him, he was kind of playing the odds. Like, can I get it? Can I get it before this walker gets here? And he goes for it and gets the butterfly. And then, of course, stabs the walker in the head. So I just thought that was a cool shot. Just kind of gave us more insight into the type of person he was. Mm-hmm. And I thought that I really loved the moments that he spent with Charlie. As you have said, I love, which is true. And so I thought it was really sweet for him to teach her how to bowl. I liked their moment. I loved their young chemistry together. And I felt like both Charlie and Ali had growth in this episode, because he realized he needed to save her and not follow Howard or Strand, because he knew it didn't feel right. Because he said that earlier to Howard. He says, this doesn't feel right to me. And then he says, oh, but we got to do what we got to do to save the tower. And then Charlie realized she couldn't do what she was set out to do for Morgan because it would jeopardize his well-being. So I just really felt like for both of them, this was a true coming of age episode. But at the same time, it was heartbreaking. It really was, because I thought they're both experiencing this new young love. I know it feels soon, but I just felt it between them. And I just thought it was cute. I thought I just really appreciated it. And, when he found out that she had radiation, we see June and Grace come out and tell him, and then he goes and gives her a surprise birthday present. Charlie says, I need to alert Morgan. And he says, oh, I'll do it. And right at that moment, I thought it was a setup. I thought that she didn't really have radiation, that June and Grace came out pretending she had. I thought, oh my God, they're going to say she has radiation and trick this kid into helping them. That's what I thought was going to happen for a moment. I thought that was so mean, but that's not what happened.
No,
I know. But I mean, just for him, because I liked him that much. I liked this kid that much. And I liked that both Charlie and Ali were just truthful with one another. They both had to come clean to each other. And I don't know, I just like that whole relationship, and I'm just going to miss it. Now she's experienced it. Love, short love, and now it's gone.
Yeah, but she's going to die.
I know that too.
So, I mean, at least she had that. The only thing she didn't have was sex. So,
I thought she didn't have a shirt on at one point, but I saw it again, and she did. She had a tank top. I didn't realize she had a tank top. But when he came and put that blanket on her,
she's gonna be 13.
I know.
You can't do that.
That's why my mouth was hanging. I'm like, was she topless right there? I was like, oh my God, you cannot do this to a 12, 13-year-old on television. But then when I saw it again, that because her hair's long, and so you could barely see her tank top. And the tank top is flesh color, so you couldn't see it. Because he puts the blanket on her. Yeah. And I'm like, what did they just do? And then I realized, okay, they didn't do anything. They were just laying there listening to the music and watching the butterflies. But yeah, and I was so mad at Howard, so mad for killing the kid. I thought it was so ruthless, and now he can die. They need to toss him over the edge to die.
He probably will. Yeah, he probably will. It'll be so, this whole Strand control thing, we haven't even really seen him. Where is he? Why has he not been present for anything.
Yeah.
Even a cameo. I mean, we don't even know, he could be out there radiated or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really.
I wonder what he is doing.
I don't know. Because he's not. Did they say? Didn't they talk about that?
They said he was off with his Rangers. And when the kid asked what he was doing, he said that's between him and the Rangers. So
yeah. So
he didn't
it's
spill
like
the beans.
No. So something's up with him, I bet. Strand.
Yeah.
Gotta be. But he's slippery. He'll get out of anything because he's just a slippery kind of guy, worker. He's a hustler.
Who, Howard, you mean?
No,
Or
Strand.
Strand. Okay.
No, Howard has no creativity whatsoever, so he's not a hustler. He's just a soldier, like you said.
Yeah. It was interesting how they brought up the butterflies transforming themselves into something better, and how Howard was saying that's what Strand has done, and that's what we do here. Yeah.
Well, it's all relative or perspective. So you don't know where anybody came from. This might be the best thing they've ever had. So, living high on the hog in this situation. So,
yeah. All right. Let's talk about June and John Dorie Sr. So at the beginning, I was so surprised that they seemed to be going along with everything at the tower. I mean, I was really shocked. I said it out loud. I'm like, why are they just so compliant here? It really bothered me. And I was glad toward the end of the episode that we did see their true intentions. I'm like, this is the June and the John Dorie I know, because John Dorie Sr. has a plan to get into Strand's ear. Of course, June has reservations about that because she's like, no, I tried doing that with Ginny and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So I don't know how far he's going to get, but at least they have a plan. At least they're not all in on this. Because I thought, oh my gosh, you guys becoming tower people. But I did love that June put Howard in his place. And then she says Strand needs me more than he needs you, and to keep the tower people safe and healthy. And so she makes a deal, because otherwise I guess he was going to take Charlie. I don't know. Was he going to throw her over the edge? I don't know. Oh no, he was going to send her out. That's what it was. He was going to release her the next morning. And she said, no, she needs to be under my care. And so that's our deal. I'll stay here and keep doing what I need to do as long as she's protected here with me. Mm-hmm. But she does make basically a vow to Charlie that before she, while she's still living, that she'll take Strand down. So I'm like, yes, June, you're finally on board.
I don't think that's possible, though. He's been, from the beginning, this guy has been the hustler. He's been say whatever you have to say in order to get out of it. And he's like, floats on top, Yeah. So the character is a very intelligent character too, because he's been through so much and he manipulates every situation so that he does come out on top. So I don't really think that there's a chance in hell that she's going to get in his ear, or the other guy, the Dorie guy, is going to get in his ear, because he doesn't listen to anybody but himself. He's a narcissist. So, they're going to have to kill him to get anything to shift. Yeah. There's no way that they can convince him at all. Even if Alicia talks to him, I mean, they have a different type of relationship when she comes back in to play with him. But ultimately, he's a narcissist. He doesn't give a shit about anybody except him. So, and his little fiefdom, or fiefdom, however you want to say that. So. Yep.
So what other thoughts or tidbits do you have?
I think that they started to set up some things. Again, the beacon outside is kind of, what's keeping the walkers all there. So what's stopping somebody from shooting it, right? On the outside, just like aiming a gun and taking out that bulb or the glass. It's that glass that they went for, right? The Fresnel glass from the lighthouse or whatever. So they could easily they've got sharpshooters, they've got guns, they could take that out if that's, and then get in. But why do they want to get in the tower? What does the tower hold for everybody?
Well, now I don't know specifically. I know that what they wanted Charlie to do was to put out the light so that they could get the walkers out of the way so that they could get in and get Grace and the baby out. So right now, Morgan's just thinking of Grace and the baby and getting them back out.
Mm-hmm. So you don't think they want to get in because they're in the submarine, right? So
right. Well, maybe they do eventually, but I think their first mission was to get Grace and the baby. And then from there, I don't know what Alicia's plan is. We'll find out when she gets what she needs. What does she need to get? She went to go get something too. I can't even remember.
I don't remember it. I mean, that's how inspiring that episode was, right?
She was going back to get something. What was it? I don't remember.
Me neither. It was trivia.
Anyways, Alicia's going to go get something and she's going to be back and they're going to go to war. That's all I remember. But what she's going to get, I don't know.
Oh,
that's bad.
Well, it's not, but that kind of drives the nail into the coffin because there is really no flow through or through line or whatever with these stories because they're not really connected. They're just little bits and pieces. Oh, let's have them do this. Let's have them do that. It's not, to me, knit together as well as it could be so that you're following this linear path. So I think that's, for me, I'm a real linear kind of person. I like to know why things are happening and what follows it and what leads up to it. And I think, a lot of the storyline in this most recent episode really makes you wonder, do they want to take or do they want to become part of that tower community? No, even though it's all self-sufficient and thriving. Whatever happened to what Morgan had established in that riverbed thing that's hidden from, Virginia, her group? It's not on the map. What happened to that? Why are they not back there? What happened?
Well, that was when the radiation happened. So they probably needed to be in someplace, not exposed. I think that's what happened at that point. I think that's why they haven't gone back.
Oh, okay.
I think they're in the submarine because they can breathe in the submarine and then they found that food. So right now the submarine was the safest place for them to be. That's why they left that.
But it wasn't everybody in the submarine though.
No.
It was Morgan and
everybody scattered, but now people have come.
So what I learned in this episode, or at least what I think the characters learned, was how ruthless and how disposable people are if they are not falling in line. Once again, you have to fall in line and follow the rules and do what this one guy says. So it's a very totalitarian sort of society that is being created because if you do disagree or you don't want to play, then whoop, you're out. So poor little Ali, that was sad. And then I thought it was really kind of cool when we did see when he put her in the elevator and then closed the doors on her, and then all the dad were trying to get in and eat her and all that kind of stuff. And then you parted the doors and there were their bubbly faces from the radiation. So that was kind of cool. That was a different spin on what they look like.
Yeah, you're right about those radiation walkers. Those are pretty cool.
They're cool.
And, those stalkers, do you remember those stalkers? You probably don't even remember the stalkers because they were not very memorable.
People?
Yes. They were dumb.
They were dumb.
They were so bad.
I was worried about the horse. Was somebody going to eat the horse? Because they just left the horse out there with everybody, and I'm like, what happened to they tie?
Yeah.
I remember that from the first season. The very first season when they were in downtown Atlanta and they ate the horse. And I'm like, oh my God.
They've done that several times, actually. They've eaten a horse throughout the season.
Gross.
So, I'm glad no horses appeared to be eaten here. But those stalkers, they weren't very smart in what they were doing. And Ali was smart to let the walkers go so that they could get them. But I had to laugh. I had to laugh too because watching them all like on top of them, like digging in.
I know.
It was funny. It was quite funny watching it. And then I thought to myself, why is this funny? And I thought, well, because when it's people we don't know or people we don't like, it's like, oh, the walkers need to eat them. But when it's somebody we like, admire, it's horrible. It's the worst thing in the world. You're like, oh my God, that person got bit or eaten. It's horrible. So I was noticing how I felt about the walkers eating the good people and the bad people, or how I view it anyways.
What I find really interesting is that they just move so slowly. How do you not get away?
Yeah.
I mean,
You're
really.
right. Yeah.
And because I've seen other, like on Netflix, they have a couple of these zombie things, apocalypse things, and it's like they're running fast after the people. You can't get away from them because they're running
scary.
so fast. I know. So I'm kind of like, how do they not know? I mean, it's a predictable behavior.
Yes.
So
exactly.
you'd think that they would be able to, dance with them a little bit better, but it's like, unless you're under a pile, obviously.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And again, the tower people being thrown off the wall, it's so medieval. It's like, wow, you're really throwing people off this wall. And then people are seeing them on different floor levels, seeing them go by. Yeah. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then we got to see Grace and Wendell for like a minute. They only showed them for 1 minute. And then, I already talked about Howard and how annoying he is and he needs to go.
He will eventually.
Yeah. All right, Margaret, we are at our segment and the award goes to. So tell me, what was your favorite quote, character, or moment?
Personally, having the same sort of experience with butterflies, I really liked that moment because it reminded me of being when I used to live in New York City and I went to the Natural Museum of History and they had butterflies. And it was always a really nice reprieve from the winter because it would be in February when it was like 3 degrees outside. And then they would have all these little butterflies in this one contained area and it was hot and sunny and you could watch the evolution. And I just thought that's kind of was replicated very well. I don't know if they were real or if they were CGI or, what they were, the butterflies. But it really, it's a nice, mellow, calm sort of identifiable experience. So for me.
Yeah.
And you?
Me too. I love the butterfly moment with Ali and Charlie. And I thought that releasing those butterflies meant he was taking a new direction.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to try and impress Strand or become a ranger anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about the ranger part, but.
Yeah. I think he just was like, okay, this is my direction now. Mm-hmm. Because he knew how much Strand loved those butterflies and how important they were. And so he just was like, not going to do what Strand wanted. He was going to make Charlie happy in that time. And that was what he was going to do. So I love how he recited back to her what she had told him about the butterflies, that something this beautiful deserves to live no matter how long that is.
Yeah.
And
you are.
I know I am. And just the music that played, the words in that song, and them laying down, looking up at the butterflies. I just thought it was so, so sweet. And then remembering their first kiss. And I just thought that we really needed to see this in this apocalyptic world. I just thought it was so sweet and ultimately so tragic. So tears up my heartstrings, man. Aww. Tears up my heartstrings. Oh, Ali. It was good to know you for an episode. I'm sure Charlie thought the same.
Yeah.
Oh,
should
man.
Be heartbroken. Mm.
So that's the end of that episode. But I just want to say we're looking forward to the next episode, and it's called Ophelia.
Oh.
And it's going to entail Daniel and maybe his
cat.
No, actually, I was going to say him losing his mental capacity.
Oh, no, that was all a game.
No, they're talking about it. They said, why would it still be a game? It has nothing to do with his current group.
Because, I don't know, he got used to it. I don't know. You develop these little things and you keep, and you're just part of your business? No, I don't know.
I don't know. But apparently Wes and Luciana it's weighing on their patience. That's what I read. So we'll see. But we get to see some new people finally. I'm glad it's going to concentrate on some other people. Although I agree with you. I think it needs to be different storylines or something more than just, multi-storylines. That would be good. All right, Margaret, that wraps up our conversation on Fear the Walking Dead for this week. But I would like to know, what are you currently watching?
Well, I was pleasantly surprised when I turned on Netflix and it said, Selling Sunset, Season 5. And I was like, whoa, yay! Because all this stuff has hit social media. So you hear all these little tidbits. And then it's, will be featured in season 5 because it's, post-dated, whatever. So I just thought it was really kind of cool to see everybody again. And I watched the whole thing between 2 days, between Saturday and Sunday. And I have to say that I was not as engaged as I was in all of the previous episodes or seasons. Because I found the characters not that interesting. And because they just didn't. They were not vulnerable. They did not reveal an awful lot. And it was just pick on Christine. I don't like Christine. I think she's a real jerk. Mm-hmm. She's a narcissist, of course. And she thinks she's funny when she's just plain old rude and, just being insensitive. But that's what they play up. So I feel like this reality show is totally a reality show because it's showing people at their worst. And I don't want to see that, honestly. For me, there was no moment that I felt was touching or heartfelt. That's reality. When you have people who are actually going through all of those emotions and expressing all of those emotions. And this was just kill or be killed. And, I didn't even like the relationship between Jason and Chriselle. And, and they kissed a lot, Diana. But I don't know. I really felt like it was a little more manipulated and less authentic. So, but, and that Chelsea chick, oh my God. Fake accent. She'd shift into a different part of England or Ireland or America or a Valley Girl or whatever. And it's kind of whatever. And it's really kind of funny because I Googled it, just because it came up on my screen on Monday because everybody was watching making comments about how fake her accent is. That's the first thing that popped into my head. I'm like, you're English? Really? Because you certainly don't sound it. So I like to watch it only because I like to see LA. I like to see the houses, the clothing that these girls come up with. And so it was really less than for me. It was more of a visual thing rather than a stimulating intellectual, wow, that's really kind of interesting. And she's so, whatever. So the intimacy was gone for me. The other show that I really, really enjoyed that I had been seeing previews for was Abbott Elementary. And it's on ABC. And it's written and it stars this person, Quinta Brunson, and it's set in Philadelphia in the Philadelphia school system. And it's about all these teachers coming in and trying to make the lives of the kids better and what they have to do. And it's their interactions and they all happen in the teacher's lounge. So they talk and they interplay and it's really it's funny because it's in your face and they say things they shouldn't say. They react in a way that's, on TV inappropriate, but it's just funny. I just really enjoy it because this girl who is the writer and star, Quinta, she just is so naive. And she just is so hopeful and so positive and she just gets squished every episode. So I just really liked it a lot. And the characters, they just interact and I don't know. To me, it's like a seamless play because it's very, very genuine and authentic. So I just thought it was really, really funny.
You watch it on ABC, is that what you said?
I watch it on Hulu, actually. They play it, the next day because it's on when something else is on. And so I watch it the next day. But, and it's 30 minutes, 24 minutes. It's easy to sit and watch the whole season in an evening. Not that I've done that, but, because they're still coming out. But
yeah.
So what TV shows or movies do you have?
Oh, I am really excited because Mayans MC season 4 has come back on. I've been waiting, wondering when it was going to come back. Then all of a sudden, saw an advertisement. I'm like, oh my God, it's here. It's finally here. And so I really like the show. It's season 4. It's on FX. You can see it on Hulu. Mayans MC exists in the Sons of Anarchy world, and the series follows Easy Reyes, once a golden boy and now a parolee and a member of the Santa Padre MC Club, along with his brother Angel. This season, whoa, it's about war and bloodshed right now amongst the Mayans chapter. The very first episode was continuous action, gunfire, tension. It was crazy. I'm talking about like the whole 45, 50 minutes. It was like intense and I loved it. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen? I love it when a show can do that. This is why it took so long to bring it back, because they knew what they were building up to, and it was going to take a lot to produce this episode. And it's really well done. I'm really excited. They showed 2 episodes, and the second episode was recouping from episode 1 and facing wrongdoings within the chapter, because they don't call the cops. There was a couple of girls inside this, where they hang out in their place. There was a couple of girls that bartend there, and one of the girls wanted to call the cops, and they knocked the phone out of her hand. They're like, we don't involve the police. We handle this on our own. And so, it was just crazy. And it was so anyways, the second episode, just, different members of this particular chapter have done some things that they shouldn't do, and they have to own up to it to their brothers. And it's just so good. It's really good. It's really well done. It's a great show. I'm so excited it's back on. I am a fan of this series. I also didn't realize that Flight Attendant season 2 was back on, and it's on HBO Max. Love it. Kaylee,
it's different too now, right? The whole premise.
Yeah. So Kaylee Cuoco and Rosie Perez. I had forgotten how good the show was until I tuned in for season 2. It's a fun thriller. Kaylee plays Cassie, a flight attendant who is now sober in season 2 and working for the CIA, but not always following the rules, which makes it so funny. She makes me laugh, and it digs further into this mystery. And I just think the writing is really smart, creative, and really well done. And I'm glad it's back on. And then I'm watching Selling Sunset, also season 5 on Netflix, and I think I'm only on episode 5. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the episodes, Margaret, and then we'll be able to catch up on what's happening with everybody. I think the only kind of spoiler is really knowing what happens with Jason and Chriselle, right? Because we know that they're through social media that they're not together yet. In here, they're all in love, and they're like, oh, we knew he was in love because he doesn't normally do this. And you're like, oh yeah, but you guys are broken up now. So what does it matter?
Wow. But you know why?
She wants a family, and maybe he doesn't. Is that where the issue lies? But then he had told somebody else, oh, I might want a child someday.
Sure.
So
sure. When he's 80.
The thing is, he can have it when he's 80.
Exactly.
So, all right. Okay. Well, hopefully we've given everybody these great show. No movies for me this week. Oh, because we are continuing to watch Outer Range, and it's getting really good. Like, I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of hooked. We need to keep watching it. So instead of watching our Saturday night movie, we watched 2 episodes of Outer Range. So I will have a movie for you. Let's make it a plan to have a movie next week. Hopefully.
Okay.
We'll try for that. All right, Margaret. Thanks for hanging out with me today.
Oh, sure. It was fun. They stopped cutting their lawns.
Yay!
Now we can go to bed.
All right. That's our show. Thanks for tuning in. We are grateful you tuned in, and we hope something we said today resonated with you, gave you a chuckle, some happiness, some positivity, or inspiration. Please subscribe to our website at screensinfocus.com and tell a friend. We would love more members of our TV club. You can rate and review the podcast wherever you listen. This helps other listeners find us. Next show will be on Fear the Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 11. You can find our website listed in our show notes. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.